Amid growing global pressure, Israel has now accepted the Biden administration's peace plan for a sustained peace in Gaza. The Biden peace plan will be rolled out in 3 phases. The 6-week-long first phase includes a full and complete ceasefire, a withdrawal of Israeli forces from all densely populated areas of Gaza. Additionally, hostages including women, the elderly and the wounded will be released by Hamas in exchange for the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. In the second phase, all remaining living hostages including male soldiers will be released and Israeli forces will withdraw from Gaza. A major reconstruction of Gaza is proposed, and in the third phase, which faces decades of rebuilding from the devastation caused by the war. Meanwhile, Netanyahu, in an interview, described the deal as not a very good deal and has expressed that he accepts the deal because he wants the hostages to be released. Now, Israel has offered a hand to Hamas with this deal, but Hamas has to accept the deal for hostilities in the Gaza Strip to stop. My colleague Brian Anthony Thomas with us on the broadcast for more details. Brian, over to you.
Well, Pia, definitely an aide to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed that Israel has accepted a framework deal for winding down the Gaza war, which is being advanced by US President Joe Biden. However, yes, talking about the aide also, it described the deal as flawed and needing significant work also. And even in an interview also, Netanyahu's chief foreign policy advisor also stated that they have agreed to the deal, but it is not a good deal, and says that they dearly want the hostages released, all of them, and emphasize that many details still need to be worked out and that Israeli conditions such as the release of the hostages and the dismantling of Hamas still remains unchanged. And even U.S. State Department reported also that Secretary of State Antony Blinken also had separate phone calls about the proposal with Israel Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and Benny Gantz also at centrist minister in Netanyahu's emergency coalition. Blinken also urged Hamas to accept the deal without delay and praised Israel's readiness to conclude with an argument, and highlighting that it would advance Israel's long-term security interests and regional integration. Now, talking about President Biden also, he initially supported Israel's offensive, but rather later criticized the high civilian death toll also, that happened, which outlined a 3-phase plan also to end the war. The first phase, which includes a truce and the return of some hostages held by Hamas, and which would be followed by negotiations for an open-ended cessation of hostilities, during which the remaining captives would be freed. And even talking about Biden's plan, also it implies that Hamas would continue to play a very pivotal in incrementally arrangements mediated by Egypt and Qatar, potentially conflicting with Israel's goal of eliminating Hamas. And previous ceasefire also proposal with similar frameworks also have collapsed, with Israel insisting on only temporary pauses to fighting until Hamas is destroyed, and Hamas on the other hand also demand a very permanent end to the war in exchange of releasing their hostages. Yes, Pia.
Indeed, Brian, we've of course seen the Biden administration take a complete U-turn as to what was its original policy. And to gain more insights, we have with us Colonel JSO, the international affairs expert. Good morning, sir. Thank you for speaking to NewsX. It seems that Biden's peace plan for the Middle East, particularly in Israel and Palestine, has now been accepted by Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a very major development that we're tracking for our viewers this morning. Netanyahu has termed this deal not a very good deal, but an olive branch has now been extended from his side to the Palestinian Authority as well. Do you think they will accept it?
Jahan, Pia, it's my honor to be on your esteemed channel. It is indeed a very good news that is coming from the Middle East after 8 months of a bloody war that has seen over 36,000 Palestinians killed and over 1,500 Israelis killed. Well, the Americans and the Israelis had no option but to go in for a ceasefire because America was seeing a lot of domestic pressure being built up with rallies happening across America, and within Israel also. The protests against Benjamin Netanyahu were increasing with each passing day. Hence, USA and Israel had no option but to go in for this deal. And Hamas has already indicated its willingness a few days earlier that it will accept the 3-phase ceasefire proposed by President Joe Biden. I think this should be taken as a stepping stone towards a long-lasting peace in the Middle East. For last 8 decades, the Middle East has not seen any peace, with wars happening on a regular and repeated intervals. And the only way now to have an everlasting peace in the Middle East is a two-nation solution, which President Joe Biden has been saying right from the day Hamas attacked Israel on 7th October last year. Once again, I'll say, Pia, it is indeed a very good news coming from the Middle East.
All right, sir. With that, I would like to thank you for joining us on the broadcast, sharing your perspective into all of these developments.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.